it's weird to think about it because, like since the surgery, I've actually tried to drink Coke a couple of times, and I mean, I don't like it. I can drink like one sip, and it's like, fuck it, just pour it out, whatever.
Yeah,
like, I don't like it. I don't like sugar. I don't
explain the feeling. Explain the feeling, or the thought that goes into. I'm going to test some.
I don't know.
Coke.
I think it's.
What goes on in your head when you think that? Isn't it, because that is mind-boggling to me, since that's your drug.
I think it's one of those things that I want to know that I don't like it anymore. And I really want to keep assuring myself that, yeah, I don't really like this. This is fucking shit. This tastes like crap. I don't like it. I mean, it's kind of like that with every sugary drink now. I mean, seriously, even the sugar-free Power King that I drank before, it's almost like, I don't know. It's not. I mean, I drink water now, like basically all the time. Yeah. Water, I haven't really drank that like since I played hockey. Seriously. Yeah. It's weird. Like, water is the only thing that can really quench my thirst now. It's really weird. So I survived somehow. Sometimes it kind of feels like a dream. I mean, it's been about 6 weeks since the surgery, and I'm honestly having a hard time understanding that it actually happened. The last month and a half has been interesting, to say the least. For the first time in a long time, I don't know how my body will react to anything at all. I mean, what's up with that? Food has actually become more of a nuisance than something I crave. And some people might see that as a negative thing, but me, personally, I'm just happy that my life doesn't revolve around my next meal anymore. The whole thing started 2 weeks before my surgery, the night of my last supper, which sounds kind of dramatic, but for someone who's based all their life decisions around food the past 6 years, it really was like saying goodbye to a part of me, a part that I loathe and hope to never see again. My 2-week powder diet was mandatory at my hospital, and it was manageable for 2 reasons. First, when I started to crave food during this period, I wasn't craving hamburgers or fries. I wasn't craving Coca-Cola or pizza. I was craving salmon, seafood, broccoli, or just greens in general. The realization that my mind was actually getting to a place where food wasn't equal to fast food was a huge thing for me, which in turn made those 2 weeks easier to deal with. Now I was actually feeling like shit during this period. I was throwing up, I got pimples, and I was scratching my hands and arms so much that I sometimes started to bleed. My body was detoxing for real. Like a real drug addict. I mean, it might also have been detoxing the 4 weeks prior to the powder diet, but now it was in full effect. I was puking on the toilet like a heroin addict going through withdrawal. 2 days prior to the surgery, I started having trouble sleeping again. But this time, it was mostly for what was coming after this. I mean, sure, I was nervous that I was never gonna wake up again if something went wrong, but mostly it was the overhanging anxiety for change, big permanent change that was looming around the corner. Who will I become? Will I succeed? Will I have complications, and if that happens, will that deter me from continuing on the path that I am now set on? I went into the hospital the morning of December 10th, more or less gone in my thoughts as I put on my hospital gown. Even with the radio blasting in the waiting room, I couldn't hear anything. I cannot tell you what they were playing or what people were telling me. After a lot of waiting, I was finally pushed into surgery. The surgeons and nurses were joking about my northern accent as they put on my gas mask. I tried to reply, but I had to close my eyes as I was about to cough. When I opened them again, I was lying in recovery. In disbelief, I almost punched myself in the gut to confirm that they had actually performed the surgery. Which, after punching myself in the gut, I confirmed that, yeah, they had. I feel like I don't know my body anymore at all, how it's going to react to anything really. Like, I'm freezing for the first times in like 6 years.
Does that make you respect your body more and be more cautious about things, or do you feel like a stranger right now in your own
I don't
skin?
know, both kind of. It's kind of like I feel like myself again for the first time in 6 years, but still I don't feel like myself. It's really strange to try to describe it.
It's like you're the version of yourself that you always imagine that you were.
It's
but
like I'm the
you
version.
didn't see it in the mirror, but now you are starting to do that. Could it be something like that, or?
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm the person I was a long time ago, but older.
Yeah, yeah.
In a way, I don't know. I'm kind of scared actually, just to see what I look like when I'm not overweight now, because I know how I look when I was like 17, but I don't know how I look now. They cut 5 holes into me. 5 reasons I'm on my way to a healthier me, a new me. It's kind of hard to explain my emotional response. It took me like 5 weeks to actually realize this was not a dream. This has happened, this is real, but still, I feel surprisingly little at the same time as I just want to take my clothes off and run around the block giggling like a little girl. But now after all of this, I have to say, the one thing I'm most happy about doing before making a decision about the surgery is research. Research, research, research. There are so many people doing a gastric bypass that has almost no idea what it entails. They all think it's a quick fix like liposuction, but it is not a quick fix. And I am glad that I did my due diligence and actually found out before how much work it actually is afterwards. Don't get me wrong, some things do get easier, like portion control. I mean, it's not just about character anymore. It's almost impossible to binge on anything really, considering the small size of your stomach. But of course, there are those times that you eat too fast or too much, too fat or too much sugar. And then the dumping is a friendly reminder that says, don't put that poison in me. Don't eat like that. It's your body's way of rebelling against your bad decisions. Which is good. I've gotten it a couple of times, and let me tell you, sometimes you just get sleepy. But I've heard and kind of experienced people having their hearts racing while almost fainting and puking at the same time. It's not dangerous, but it's really disturbing and creepy and kind of eye-opening. And for the finale, there's my blood sugar, which is not an issue anymore, so that's great. No diabetes for me. But of course, a lot of things get more complicated, especially when we're talking about food. People's reactions when you tell them. Don't get me wrong, I've had it good. I've had a great deal of support, and that is just great. I mean, all of you guys watching this, all your emails and messages, thank you. My friends have really stood by me, and last but not least, my family, who's freaking amazing. But believe me when I tell you, I am an exception, a very small minority. I have, of course, had some negative reactions. People talking BS behind my back, questioning my way of doing things because I've been out with friends after the surgery, or they've been wondering with a smug look on their face why I just didn't continue losing weight by myself and skip the surgery. And that I will come back to later. However, what happens far too often is the unfortunate human behavior at its finest. Family telling people that they're almost disappearing when they're still obese according to the BMI instead of being happy for them. Losing friends over the fact that you're finally getting some attention. Family and friends just outright stop talking to you. Marriages falling apart because your spouse gets jealous of the attention, or just that you changed your life to something other than the sofa and a bag of chips, and so on and so on. The list is long. I'm not trying to scare anybody here, but you really, really need to know this. It's more important than knowing how they actually do the surgery. What's also very important to note is that if you have a passion for food, you may lose it. Now that might turn out to be a positive thing, it was for me, but it may also be seen as a negative, since from the moment you did that surgery, your life is really all about food. And it probably was before, but now it's in a different way. Now you really have to plan out your days, think about what, when, and how you consume your food. You have to really plan out your protein intake. You have to eat vitamins and medication for the rest of your life. And this is the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that people who's never been overweight and doesn't really know what this thing is, they gotta know that even though it's like a tool to use to lose weight,
Yeah.
it's still, I mean, it makes certain things easier, but it complicates your life a lot.
Yeah.
So you really gotta know what you're getting yourself into, because I mean, I gotta take like, I think it's like 7 pills per day or 8 pills per day for the rest of my life.
And what are these pills? Are they vitamins? Are they?
They're vitamins and all that kind of stuff, and like things for my stomach and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, you gotta eat like all the time.
Yeah.
And I've had some days that I've actually struggled with eating enough, since it's you forget it. I don't feel hunger, which is also weird. I mean, if I don't eat, I drop in energy so fucking fast. It's ridiculous. And I mean, you can really get sick if you don't really try to do this the right way. And I'm human. I forget.
Yeah.
And that's what people gotta know. It's not the easy way out. It's easier in some aspects, but it's really more complicated in others. No more shit, excuse my French. This is it. But if you are curious about the technical aspects of surgery, there is a better video showing an actual surgery. And if you want to see that video, just click right here now. I honestly thought I would have more to say, more technical information. I thought when doing the first part that I would find a really technically informative video exciting. Turns out that the technical stuff doesn't really matter. I'm changed. I'm someone else, but really, I'm the exact same. I'm a version of me that I always knew I had inside me. I just needed to lose over 35 kilograms to let him out. It's bizarre because I wasn't going to get too personal in this part. But it ended up just being as personal and naked as the first one. This is probably the 15th version of the script that you're watching. It's not until now that I've been satisfied. My problem's been, how do I talk about my feelings around the procedure when I have no idea what I'm actually feeling? But now I know exactly what it is. It's happiness. Pure, genuine, freaking bliss. I haven't felt that in a decade, and it took me over 2 months to figure it out. I'm changing, and I'm finally evolving past all the BS the last couple of years. And the world's changing around me, never stopping, spinning. Okay, so here's the gist of it. First off, just try to figure out the best way for you to lose weight. Be really brutally honest with yourself about addictions that are hindering your progress. Be honest to yourself about your mental health and try to actually find out what got you into the situation you're in right now. I've met people telling me they're a happy fat guy. Hell, I've been that guy. But no one who's fat is actually 100% happy. Not only are they probably not thrilled about being overweight, they got overweight because they had issues inside their head that were unsolved. Crap they needed to figure out before doing something as big as a gastric bypass surgery. Or whatever you decide is the best course of action. I don't like Coke anymore. I don't like Coca-Cola, which I've consumed for the last 8 years of my life like it was liquid crack. And it's scary now when I think back at how I actually would. When I was drinking Coca-Cola, it was, I mean, I kind of thought about it, but not really. I mean, when I poured that glass, the first glass, and just took those first sips, and was like, it's fucking crazy. I wouldn't have want to see myself.
No.
It would probably have been me reenacting a scene from a movie when a guy like puts in heroin in his veins. It was ridiculous.
If
really.
You can describe it, the feeling, how would you describe it? How would you?
Some sort of pure ecstasy for like 2 minutes, and then I don't know.
Yeah, and then what happens then?
I don't know.
Because that's the interesting part.
Nothing. That's the thing. Nothing happens, and now it's like.
How did you feel afterwards? After drinking a whole bottle of Coke?
I wanted more.
What?
I wanted more. It's that basic junkie logic, basically. Now when I've tasted Coke, every time it's been like, it just tastes like burnt sugar for me. I don't know. It's not good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like it, and that's good, of course. I mean, I feel like, yes, I don't like this. It's okay. Remember, there's no rule book when it comes to this. But I would say that when you've figured out why you almost ate yourself to death, then it's time to really figure out what to do about it. And once again, I plead to you, research. Google is your friend. Even if doctors know what they're doing, you really want to have an idea about what's happening too. It's better to be over-prepared like I was than to be oblivious. Surgery may not also be the answer for you. There's a lot of smart and healthy diets that can help you, if you're strong enough. Just use your common sense and be true to yourself. Don't lie. Now, I said I would get back to why I just didn't skip the surgery and just kept myself on a diet and kept losing weight by myself. Here's the problem with just a diet, at least for me. If you want to keep being thin, you gotta know with all your heart that you are strong enough to keep being on that diet for almost your entire life for it to work. You gotta know that you have the strength of character. I was honest with myself. I know I can hold the diet for a while, but I also know that I can't do it forever. Sooner or later, I would have slipped and I would have been right back where I started. This surgery is for me the means to an end to my addiction-riddled, stupid mind. Some people may feel like this way is a bit extreme, but I did it exactly for that reason. I honestly like myself too much right now to fuck this up. Once again, pardon my French. I did something I cannot back out of in 2 years, and that is exactly the type of motivation I need to change, unfortunately. But as I said, this is not for everyone, so be 100% sure before doing this, please. This is irreversible. But for me, it helps me stay the course. And even if it's only been 6 or 7 weeks since, it's the best decision of my entire life. I can finally go out and meet friends for a drink. I don't get pissed off over petty things. I get my inspiration back. I got my cojones back, my balls back, my self-confidence and pure thought, my reasoning skills. I finally got myself back, and honestly, I may not love myself unconditionally yet, but I'm getting there. And isn't that the most important thing of all? Oh, and I once again dare to talk to women. That's pretty cool.